Welcome back to Wisdom Unveiled. This is a show where we take your sources, we really dig in, and pull out those key insights, basically giving you a shortcut to being well-informed. Today, we're continuing our journey, our deep dive into the incredible legacy of the 12th century Persian poet and mystic, Attar of Nishapur. And we're drawing insights, again, from those fascinating conversations between the Iranian philosophers, Dr. Ebrahim Dinani and Dr. Esmail Mansouri Larijani. From their Marifat recordings. And actually, this is our 34th deep dive, drawing from those 40 audio files. So we're getting deep into the material now.
We are indeed.
Now, before we really jump in, just a quick but important note here. This whole exploration is a translation, obviously. It's a reproduction of talks originally in Persian. And especially when you're dealing with, poetry, mysticism, these intricate layers, well, some nuances, some specific details.
Yeah.
It might not translate perfectly.
That's always a challenge with this kind of material.
Yeah, exactly. So we do apologize in advance for any discrepancies that might pop up, but we really hope you'll stick with us because the core wisdom here is just so powerful. It really does transcend language.
Absolutely.
Okay, so in our last deep dive, we started looking at Attar's profound insights, things like self-discovery, spiritual ascent, the hidden potential within us, right? Symbolized by the Hoopo.
Yet soaring Hoopo, yes.
Today, we're going to peel back another really crucial layer. We're going to explore this truly fascinating parable from Attar. It goes even deeper into the nature of the ego, which is often so misunderstood, and it lights up a path to self-knowledge that's maybe more challenging than we think.
It certainly makes you think differently about the ego.
So let's start there with Attar's method, how he teaches. He's famous for getting through the incredibly deep truths, but not, through dry philosophy. He uses stories, parables, that unique poetic style. And it's not just about sounding nice, is it? It feels very intentional, like a deliberate strategy.
Oh, absolutely. What's really captivating is Attar's mastery of something called kinaya.
Kinaya.
Yeah, kinaya. It basically means indirect speech or implication. There's this powerful saying in Arabic, al-kinaya abla min al-tazri. It means implication is more eloquent than just stating something explicitly.
More eloquent. Why, though?
Well, think about it. When someone speaks indirectly, they're not just feeding you the answer. They're making your mind work. You get drawn into their thought process. You sort of become a partner in figuring it out.
Ah, okay. So you're actively involved.
Exactly. And that engagement, it really amplifies the impact of whatever the message is. Whether it's a difficult truth, something kind of hard to swallow, or maybe a really sweet insight, it makes the discovery feel like yours.
Right, not just something you were told.
Precisely.
That really clicks. It makes me think of how the Quran itself uses stories, narratives. Doesn't it call them ahsan al-qasas?
Yeah.
The best of stories.
Yes, exactly. The best of stories.
And they aren't just tales, are they? They're lessons, insights aimed at those with uli al-absar, people with inner vision, deeper sight.
Precisely. You have to look beneath the surface. And our rich Iranian and Islamic literary tradition is just full of this approach. Attar is a true master here. He draws you into these deep truths, but through the veil of a story. Makes you work for it a bit.
And that makes it stick.
It does. It's a kind of teaching through unveiling, not just lecturing.
Okay, so building on that idea of kanaya, that indirect teaching, let's look at a specific story, one that really hits home his message about the ego. Attar tells this fable where Satan confronts Pharaoh. Pharaoh, famous for that colossal ego, claiming divinity.
The ultimate egomaniac, historically speaking.
Right. So Satan performs this apparently miraculous act. He picks up sand, turns it into beautiful pearls.
Wow.
And then, just like that, turns it back to sand. Then he looks at Pharaoh and says, basically, your turn. Can you do that?
Okay, so the challenge is laid down.
Exactly. And Pharaoh, despite all his posturing, all his claims of being a god, he has to admit he can't do it. He's completely powerless to do this simple transformation.
He's exposed.
Totally.
Yeah.
And here's where Attar gives it that twist, and it gets really interesting. In Satan himself, the embodiment of evil, arrogance, he rejects Pharaoh.
Rejects him? How?
He basically says, I don't even accept you as my slave.
Yeah.
You're too weak, too wretched. You're full of hot air, just baseless claims.
Wow. So even Satan finds Pharaoh contemptible because of his weakness hidden by the ego.
That's the incredible point Attar's making. Pharaoh's huge ego, his claim to be God, isn't shown as strength. Attar reveals it as a sign of profound weakness, of utter lowliness.
The complete opposite of how Pharaoh saw himself.
Exactly. Attar uses this to show that this kind of grandiosity isn't power, it's spiritual poverty. It's the absolute lowest, most pathetic, most diluted stage of the ego. The Nafs, as it's called.
The Nafs, right. An ego so lost in itself that even the ultimate symbol of arrogance finds it pathetic. That's a powerful image.
It really is. It tells you true spiritual power is somewhere else entirely.
And this story, it works like a philosophical mirror, doesn't it? It really highlights this critical link between two concepts, tabir and taghyir.
Kabir and taghyir. Can you unpack those?
Sure. Tabir means interpretation or maybe self-perception, how you understand something or yourself. And taghyir means change or transformation.
Okay, interpretation and transformation.
Right. So Pharaoh couldn't change the sand taghyir because he couldn't interpret himself correctly, tabir. He had this completely false self-perception, saw himself as a god, but couldn't manage a simple transformation. His interpretation was broken.
I see. The interpretation has to come first.
Absolutely. And this raises a really vital question for you listening right now. How can you possibly change anything around you? Or maybe more importantly, how can you change yourself if you don't have a correct interpretation of what you actually are or what the world is? Think about it like a carpenter who thinks wood is stone. His attempts to carve it are just going to fail, right? He might even break his tools.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
That correct interpretation, that tabir, it's the absolute foundation for any real change, any meaningful taghyir.
That fits perfectly. Reminds me of that beautiful saying from Imam Ali, Al-aliman arafa qadrahu.
Ah, yes. The wise is he who knows his worth.
Exactly. It implies that real wisdom, it doesn't start with knowing everything out there, but with knowing yourself, knowing your own value, your own limits. That's the starting point.
Precisely. Knowing yourself is being able to interpret yourself correctly, seeing yourself as you really are without the illusions, the false claims.
Stripped bare, in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And only when you can do that, when you have that honest self-interpretation, only then can you achieve real, lasting change. Personal growth, spiritual development, even making a difference in the world.
It seems so fundamental.
It is. It's deeply psychological and deeply spiritual. You know, people who try to change the world without understanding it properly, or worse, without understanding themselves properly, they're doomed to fail. They're building on sand, just like Pharaoh.
And Attar, he doesn't just leave it with Pharaoh, does he? He brings it right home. He says something incredibly direct, almost startling. Pharaoh is your Nafs.
Power.
He means that same arrogant, weak, self-deceiving ego, that inner pretender. It's right here, inside each of us. This Nafs, the lower self. It's constantly being tested, constantly fighting for control. And the Quran calls it amara bisu, always inciting towards evil or negativity.
Yeah, inciting to evil or base impulses. It's this relentless force inside us, always pushing you towards what's base, what's self-serving, what's ultimately bad for your spiritual health.
Why is it considered so dangerous?
Because, like the descriptions you find of hell, it's fundamentally insatiable. It never, ever says enough.
Never satisfied.
Never. It's always crying out. The Quran says about hell, Hal mitala mazid. Are you full? Is there more? And the Nafs is like that.
That resonates. I mean, think about our modern world. Endless scrolling, wanting more stuff, more likes, more experiences.
Exactly. That's the Nafs whispering, is there more? Give me more stimulation, more comfort, more validation. It's a constant demand. Rumi, another giant of Persian mysticism, he put it so vividly. He called the Nafs a hungry dragon.
A dragon.
Yeah. This self is hell, and hell is a dragon. It cannot be diminished by oceans. It swallowed a world, but its stomach still cries, is there more?
Wow. That captures it perfectly. That endlessly demanding, never satisfied nature. It just consumes and consumes, but never finds real fulfillment.
Just a deeper hunger.
So if we connect this Nafs, this inner Pharaoh, to the bigger picture, Attar and many mystics, they talk about humans having this unique duality.
Yes, a profound duality. You are, in a very real sense, both the master and the slave of your own self.
Master and slave. How does that work?
Well, you're the potential master through your ekul, that's your intellect, your reason, your ability to discern, and also through your din, your connection to divine guidance, your spiritual principles.
Okay, intellect and guidance give mastery.
Potential mastery, yes. But you're also the potential slave through your ha, your desires, your passions, your lower impulses, the things driven by the Nafs.
So it's an internal battleground.
Absolutely, a constant internal struggle. And what this means, for us day to day, it means your actual freedom, your real agency, depends entirely on which side wins out.
Wins out.
Does your intellect, guided by spirit, govern your desires? If so, you're the master of your inner world. Yeah. Or do your desires rule your intellect? If that happens, you effectively become a slave to your own lower self.
And if desires rule, it's just that endless loop that, is there more?
It's a downward spiral, often. A constant chase for more that just leaves you empty. And this duality, this tension, it's actually the price of our freedom.
The price of freedom.
Yes. Human freedom, al-Tayr, in Arabic and Persian, is often seen by mystics as our most precious gift, unique in all creation. But this incredible freedom carries the inherent risk of choosing badly, of letting the nafs, the hawa, take over.
So it's the cost of being truly human.
Exactly. You're not forced to be good like an angel or stuck in evil like a Jamin. You have the choice. And that's both terrifying and magnificent.
That's a really powerful reminder.
Yeah.
To cherish that freedom, but also to be responsible with it.
Yeah.
Makes me think of that poet's line, if my thought were not free under the sky, there would be no such cry from my throat.
Beautiful. Yes. The very act of seeking, questioning, striving, it all comes from that freedom. It underscores the responsibility we have. And there's another concept in Attar that's key here. Dard. Pain.
Pain. Like suffering.
Not exactly ordinary suffering, not physical pain or losing something external. Attar talks about a sweet pain.
Sweet pain, that sounds paradoxical.
It is. It's the sweet pain of separation from the divine source. That deep yearning to return to your origin, this feeling of separation, this farak, or longing for reunion. It's not actually a negative thing in this context.
How so?
Paradoxically, it's a major source of spiritual growth. It's like a divinely implanted homesickness that pulls you, motivates you, propels you along the path towards perfection.
Like missing someone deeply, but that ache reminds you of the love.
Exactly like that. The ache isn't bad. It testifies to the connection and fuels the desire to bridge the distance. And this idea of yearning, of value, leads Attar to ask another one of his sharp questions directly to us, to you listening. He says something like, the price of every commodity you know, but your own worth you do not know, O foolish one.
Ouch. That hits hard.
Doesn't it? How often do we meticulously calculate the value of external things? Our house, our car, the latest phone. But we remain completely unaware, or maybe just neglectful, of the immense, truly incalculable worth of our own inner self. Our Jan, our soul.
We focus entirely on the external price tags.
And ignore the priceless jewel within.
Attar seems to be nailing a really common human blind spot here. We constantly prioritize temporary external desires, the body's fleeting pleasures, and we completely miss the enduring value of the soul.
He laments it quite strongly, he says. We gambled away the soul for the body and did not recognize the soul's worth even a bit.
Gambled it away.
Yes. And he stresses, the body is temporary. It offers no lasting help. In fact, if it becomes our main focus, it can actually paralyze the soul, hinder its journey, its potential.
So it's a warning about priorities,
Yeah.
about what we truly value.
Absolutely. The core message is crystal clear. Don't sacrifice the soul, that precious inner jewel, for the body's temporary cravings. The path to the divine, the path to real freedom and self-knowledge, demands that you move beyond the ego's prison, beyond that inner Pharaoh.
Moving beyond the Pharaoh within.
And Attar sums it up with this almost stark statement. He who is not humble in his own eyes, God has no business with him.
Humility is the key.
If you're clinging to your ego, believing your own hype like Pharaoh did, you just can't connect. Humility is the doorway to that true spiritual connection. You have to see the Pharaoh within to move past it.
Okay, so let's try and bring these incredible threads from Attar together. That story, Pharaoh and Satan. It's just like a mirror for our own egos, isn't it?
A very stark mirror.
Reminding us that real power isn't in those big false claims. It's an honest self-perception. That taghyir you mentioned.
Exactly. And connecting that to the bigger picture, it just hammers home how vital self-knowledge is. Knowing your real worth, your Jan, your soul, that's the absolute bedrock for any genuine change, any real transformation in life.
Right. It's about seeing that relentless, insatiable voice of the nafs for what it is. And then consciously using our unique human toolkit, our intellect, our spiritual guidance, to actually steer the ship instead of just being pulled along by every desire.
Harnessing that duality, letting the master rule the slave within.
So for you, listening right now, maybe it's worth reflecting. What subtle Pharaoh-like delusions, what unexamined habits or false ideas about yourself might be keeping your inner Pharaoh from seeing his own witness and therefore keeping you from your own true strength?
It's a deep question.
And how could understanding your real inherent worth, your Jan, your soul, how could that be the very first crucial step towards the kind of true freedom Attar is pointing towards? And finally, maybe, What subtle pain, that sweet dart, that longing for something deeper, what might that actually be telling you? Could it be prompting you to look inward, to really seek your origin, and maybe finally to step onto that path of self-discovery?
Powerful questions to sit with.
Definitely some powerful thoughts to mull over,
Right.
something for you to explore, in your own way, in your own life and experience. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive here on Wisdom Unveiled. We really hope you'll keep exploring these incredible ideas with us. Keep unveiling the wisdom in your own life. Until next time, keep seeking, keep asking those deep questions, and keep growing.